Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes UK car output growth strongest in September as overseas shipments rise. SMMT Rare Japanese movie prints at risk of destruction. Data center firm Equinix trims annual revenue forecast on weak corporate spending. The record-breaking crash in bonds is a threat to stock prices and American jobs. Here's everything you need to know about the Treasury market turmoil. Social media platform X rolls out audio, video calling. UK car output growth strongest in September as overseas shipments rise. SMMT Reuters. UK car output in September increased by nearly 40% compared to the previous year, driven by a rise in export demand, according to the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, SMMT. A total of 88,230 units were produced during the month, nearly double the number in August. The growth in electric vehicle, EV, production was particularly strong, increasing by 41.5% year-on-year. However, the implementation of new rules requiring a rising proportion of EV parts to be made locally in order to qualify for tariff-free trade is causing concern for automakers. The SMMT has called for a 3-year delay to the rules to maintain competitiveness. Rare Japanese movie prints at risk of destruction. Nikkei Asia. Film processing company Tokyo Laboratory, which started business in 1955, will cease operations at the end of November and has announced that it will dispose of approximately 20,000 films in its possession by the end of October unless they are claimed by clients. The films include fiction features, documentaries, TV programs, and animations from the 1970s to early 2000s. Tokyo Laboratory is unable to transfer the unclaimed films to third parties such as film archives due to Japanese copyright law. The National Film Archive of Japan has 75,684 Japanese films in its collection and is concerned about the fate of these at-risk films. Film producer Franruble Kazui, who saved many prints of Japanese movies while living in the US, has expressed alarm about the situation, calling it a crime and saying that these films are part of Japanese culture. Kazui is lobbying for a symposium at the Tokyo International Film Festival to discuss the state of film preservation and restoration in Japan. Film historian Aaron Jarrow suggests that Japan should establish a government agency to store the films and that there should be more flexibility for archives to receive works under copyright. Data center firm Equinix trims annual revenue forecast on weak corporate spending. Reuters. Data center company Equinix has revised down its annual revenue forecast due to concerns that a tough macroeconomic environment would lead companies to scale back their plans for cloud-based infrastructure. The company now expects annual revenue between $8.17 billion and $8.21 billion, down from its previous forecast of $8.17 billion to $8.25 billion. Equinix's Q3 revenue of $2.06 billion was in line with analysts' estimates, with adjusted core earnings rising 7% to $936 million. The company expects current quarter revenue between $2.09 billion and $2.13 billion. The record-breaking crash in bonds is a threat to stock prices and American jobs. Here's everything you need to know about the Treasury market turmoil. Yahoo! U.S. Treasury prices have fallen, sending benchmark 10-year yields above 5% for the first time in 16 years, causing alarm in the market, as shares in equities have tumbled and there are concerns about the impact on the wider economy. The sell-off has accelerated in recent weeks and has turned into one of the worst routes in the history of the U.S. bond market. Bonds are IOUs that pay interest regularly and repay the loan in full at a later date. The bond market is crucial for setting the price of loans and investments. The U.S. government's outstanding borrowings have tripled over the last 2 decades to $33.64 trillion, dwarfing the nation's GDP of around $27 trillion. The debt has surged by $640 billion in the past 5 weeks alone, overwhelming demand for bonds. The rapid rise in bond yields is bad news for stocks. When yields are higher, investors have more incentive to buy bonds rather than riskier assets such as stocks. Higher bond yields can also have a knock-on effect on the economy, as they raise interest rates on other things, such as mortgages and personal loans. Social media platform X rolls out audio, video calling. Reuters. Social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, is launching an early version of video and audio calling for some users, according to Chief Technology Officer and owner Elon Musk. Musk aims to turn X into an everything app and has been introducing new features and changes to the platform since acquiring it last year. The video and audio calling feature will be available on Apple's iOS, Google's Android, and personal computers, and users will not need a phone number to use it. Canada needs to move faster than the rest of the world on renewable energy, Minister says. The Globe and Mail. Canada needs to accelerate its transition to renewable energy in order to keep up with global trends, according to Energy Minister Jonathan Wilkinson. The International Energy Agency recently forecasted that demand for all fossil fuels will peak by 2030, even in the absence of further climate-related policies. The agency also predicted that nearly half of the world's electricity supply will come from renewables by 2030, with solar power alone surpassing the energy produced by the entire U.S. electricity system. Wilkinson emphasized the need for Canada's oil and gas industry to decarbonize in order to maintain its position in a shrinking market. Teradyne beats quarterly revenue estimates on strong chip testing equipment demand. Reuters. Teradyne, a company that designs and develops technology to test chips and electronic equipment, has reported third-quarter revenue above market expectations due to resilient demand for its chip testing solutions. The company's revenue for the quarter fell around 15% to $703.7 million, but beat analysts' expectations. Teradyne's largest customer, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, also showed optimism about the demand stabilization in the smartphone and computing markets. Teradyne's fourth-quarter revenue is forecasted to be between $640 million and $700 million. Asian stocks to open mixed, yen passes key level, markets wrap. Bloomberg. Asian stocks are expected to have a mixed open, following a slump in U.S. shares due to poor corporate earnings. Australian shares fell in early trading, while futures in China and Hong Kong point to early gains after Beijing announced further measures to stimulate the economy. The tech-heavy Nasdaq 100 index dropped 2.5% on Wednesday due to disappointing earnings from Alphabet Incorporated and Texas Instruments Incorporated. Meanwhile, the Japanese yen fell to a new low for the year, increasing the risk of intervention from Tokyo's authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, here to bring you the latest news from across the world. Let's dive right in. In the UK, the car industry is revving up with record-breaking growth in September. Car output increased by nearly 40% compared to last year, fueled by strong demand for exports. Electric vehicle production saw an impressive growth of 41.5%, highlighting the shift towards greener transportation. However, the new rules requiring more locally made EV parts are causing concerns for automakers. They are seeking a 3-year delay to maintain their competitiveness. Looks like the UK car industry is speeding ahead, but will it hit any speed bumps along the way? From the land of the rising sun, we have a concerning story. Rare Japanese movie prints are at risk of destruction. Tokyo Laboratory, a film processing company, plans to dispose of approximately 20,000 films from the 1970s to early 2000s unless they are claimed by clients. Due to Japanese copyright law, these films cannot be transferred to film archives. This has sparked alarm among film producers and historians who argue that these films are part of Japanese culture. Let's hope a solution can be found to preserve these valuable pieces of cinema history. In the world of technology, data center company Equinix has trimmed its annual revenue forecast due to concerns about weak corporate spending on cloud-based infrastructure. The tough macroeconomic environment has led companies to scale back their plans, causing Equinix to revise down its revenue expectations. On the bright side, Equinix's Q3 revenue was in line with expectations, with adjusted core earnings rising. It will be interesting to see how the data center industry weathers these challenges in the coming months. The U.S. Treasury market is experiencing turmoil, with bond prices falling and yields rising above 5% for the first time in 16 years. This has caused concern in the market, as equities have tumbled, and there are worries about the impact on the wider economy. Bonds play a crucial role in setting the price of loans and investments, so this record-breaking crash is not to be taken lightly. Higher bond yields can have a knock-on effect on the stock market and the economy as a whole. Buckle up, folks, it could be a bumpy ride. Now, let's talk social media. The platform formerly known as Twitter, now called X, is rolling out video and audio calling features for some users. Elon Musk, the owner and chief technology officer, aims to turn X into an everything app and has been introducing new features and changes to the platform. This move into video and audio calling puts X in direct competition with other social media giants. Who knows what other surprises X has up its sleeve? Stay tuned. In Canada, Energy Minister Jonathan Wilkinson is calling for an acceleration in the transition to renewable energy. The International Energy Agency predicts that demand for fossil fuels will peak by 2030, even without further climate-related policies. Wilkinson emphasizes the need for Canada's oil and gas industry to decarbonize in order to stay competitive in a shrinking market. It's time for Canada to step on the gas and lead the way in renewable energy. Lastly, let's take a look at the markets. Asian stocks are expected to have a mixed open after a slump in US shares due to poor corporate earnings. Australian shares fell, while futures in China and Hong Kong point to early gains after Beijing announced measures to stimulate the economy. The Japanese yen fell to a new low for the year, raising the risk of intervention from Tokyo's authorities. It's a roller coaster ride in the world of stocks, so hold on tight. That's all for today, folks. Remember, your thoughts and opinions matter too. What are your ideas on these news stories? Join the discussion and let us know what you think. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the sixth dimension. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.